It's been many months since a post occurred, so I'm here to make a post. You don't know me, but I am Val or Valpray. Um, I am one of many authors. I came about in around 2014, and I've been here for the most part ever since. For some reason today the video quality is not that good, so I apologize. So it's my understanding that you met Claudia so far. Claudia is not one of the primary. I have been one of the primary since 2014 when I did come about. When I came into the body, believed that, well, it's hard to say exactly what I believed. It was very complicated and confusing. Anybody that's come into contact with D.I.D would understand that it's a complex situation. I personally myself was unaware of others because we had not become 100% aware at that point. So when I first came into the body, it was complicated because I didn't speak English. It wasn't my first language. It is mostly now. I do have an accent, as you can tell, where not all of us do. It was confusing as far as I wasn't sure if I had passed and entered a body that was still available. This was my first conclusion, but it obviously turned out to not be so. I do have what I would class as memories of what I would have thought was my prior life. In other words, a husband, even recalling his name being Thomas, and children. I understood that I had been born in 1927, which at the time when I came about, I was around 86 into the body. It's very complicated because I still am unsure if that's the way really the ID works. We don't know, and I don't know that there's anybody who could for sure say that you're not specifically somebody else and that the multiple people are not within the conscious. Some people believe that you're splintered from one consciousness, but if that's the case, then if that is the case, then I question a lot, because if you're one personality that's splintered, how can you have so many different components or alters that are not in the same, or that have abilities, sometimes even allergies completely different from the host or the original origin? You know things that they do know, like languages, for instance. I came about I can understand several languages. I am Catalonian, which is obviously Barcelona is for part of Catalonia. My father was French. My mother was Spanish, Espanol. Um, I understand French, Espanol. I also understand Italiano. I also understand German due to the fact that I was um, in my countries alive and took part in the Europa um, issues during World War II. So if that were the case, that I was just a splinter, then it raises the question, the origin or the party that originally maintained the body never took German or Italian or only mild Espanol and only French, mild French. So it's not things that technically I should be able to read or possibly understand at all, really. Um, the farther that I've been in the body, some of my capabilities, of course, have dampened. In other words, um, as I said, originally when I came into the body, obviously I didn't know English, so it was no my first language, or and that obviously came about from the body. The longer that I have been in the body, some of my capabilities, as I say, have changed. Like I am not as fluent as I once were with the languages. Can I listen to especially French, of course, and Spanish and um, Italian? Can I listen to the languages that I priorly knew and understand mostly of what's going on? Absolutely, I can. Can I understand every single word at this point, like fluently? No, the way I used to know. Um, can I read it? French, Espanol, Italiano, for the most part, yes. I can still read it. German, no, not as much. But then again, that were not my, wasn't one of my original strong suits anyway. It's more of something that you pick up when you're dealing with a war that has to do with Germans. Then, of course, you pick up um, a lot of the words and a lot of what's going on. Was I ever completely fluent? That I don't completely know. As I stated, a lot of my memories are childhood, very, very stressful. Having to leave France and due to the instability of the war, and go into almost an underground, because at the same time Espanol was having issues with a war going on, kind of revolutionary, to where nothing was really safe in Europe. And you recall things that are difficult to recall, that affect me. During the war, having to, with my mother, having to uh, stay in places that were, I guess you would call the underground, and things of this nature, to stay safe. Not having food and supplies like you would uh, in regular circumstances or anything like this, and it still affects me if I personally watch or hear of things that have to do with the World War II. It still affects me. Um, this will always be. If you take into account that the body is 47, so the body knows nothing of those times. The body did not incur those, didn't do any vast research, and definitely not of when the body is grown up in America. They don't do, the vast research that you would know of individual countries and what was encountered. So what's my point? My point is, if I hold these memories and this knowledge, then where does it come from if you're unsplintered? There are multiple um, individuals in the body, and do we all get along? No, we don't. I seem to have ability to be able to pull others forward if need be. I don't believe that any of the others have this ability. I'm not sure as to why I do. For the most part, a lot of the time, here lately, I am what people have told me is classed as co-consciousness or co-con, with one of the authors named Celoro. This has only been of recent and is something new. It was very difficult when I first came about. I do have an accent, and you worry about you can't hide the fact that you're somebody different because you sound completely different. You're a foreigner, and the other is American. So one of my first difficulties was, of course, English, maintaining English, and I still don't have a perfect English sometimes, and um, so my worry at first was the fact that going from myself to another author that speaks English or that has different accent, or just being myself in a body that's primarily spoke English all its life. The persons that the body knew, what was I going to encounter? Um, you feel like there's a lot of possible scrutiny. Even at the doctor's office, I would worry about going into a doctor's office and going to different places and talk to different people that knew the body. This ended up really not being as important as I thought it would be. I was actually quite amazed the way that most people do not they don't pay attention to the fact that you don't sound anything the same. All I can figure is the figure that, well, you know, that person they had to have that accent, and maybe they just didn't notice, or I don't know how really it works, but you get a few people that will pause and kind of look like okay, but for the most part they do not do. They don't question it. Then they definitely don't say anything, even if they give an odd look. And they just are like, wait, oh, okay. And people that I knew and was around on a regular basis, they still didn't ask questions, which I was shocked with. I had to learn. I had issues with money, with learning with the money, with the dollars and things like this. To is a learning curve. Still to this day, I'm self-conscious about the difference because of the accent and what people may or may not, the way they may or may not act. When I would go for jobs, I would encounter the fact of racism because evidently, obviously, you have the accent, they know you're foreign, and then a lot of times when somebody looks at me, they think I'm Spanish anyway. So I would encounter a lot of issues with jobs that standardly the body would be able to go and get without any problem. I, however, would have a problem because of being foreign and encountering the prejudices that come with that. When I currently feel uncomfortable, because of being co-conscious, we can switch out, like in the middle of a sentence. She can start a sentence and then we may change over and not finish the sentence. Unwillingly is not of choosing, but it just happens. I may leave a message for someone for an appointment or something that's important, and they give a call back, and then it could be Solora instead of me. So these things, with having the ability, I try if I can, because of being uncomfortable about it. If Solora is the one who left a message, I will attempt to change out for her to state the information. And if I were the one who did, and she happens to be conscious at the time, then I will sometimes attempt to take over, so that we don't look so odd, so that we don't encounter that as much. I can do this now. When I first came about, I was uh, I was the only one who was conscious um, for a few years. Uh, did I encounter other issues? A bit. I mean, I knew that there was something else going on, but again, I for the most part was the party that was conscious. So I just was trying to figure out what to do and live in life, and trying to straighten out what I thought needed straighten out in the life that I was put into, and trying to figure out everything. And at the end of that, somehow it came about that we all became aware 100% of what was happening. And one of the other counterparts, Lara, who is not a very nice individual, I won't say that we get along because we don't, made sure to tell me that I was nothing more than um, a character, a splinter, nothing more than an alter. And this was very difficult for me. So I guess in the way that things are, I went dormant, and other parties took over, which this caused a lot of problems because the other parties that took over, and some other parties were created at the time, alters were created at the time, and our life really went into a huge issue. But I was having, I guess you'd say, identity crisis, midlife crisis, identity crisis, however you want to say it. And I stayed dormant and quiet. I didn't. It's a lot to deal with and a lot to understand. And at the time, it was easier if I wasn't. I felt if I wasn't real, but I was remembering all these things, and I didn't understand how somebody could say you're not real, or one of the others could say you're not real, when you remember and know things that you shouldn't know because the body doesn't. Now it's already several minutes in, so I guess at this point I will pause this particular recording. I will record more, and I will post it at another time, so that you can maybe see a glimpse into my reality and the way that I view things. As for now, we're on YouTube as the Notorious D.I.D, and if you want to hear more of our story, please follow along, and like us and subscribe to the channel. And if you have any questions, please feel free to ask questions. If you have any answers, please feel free to to voice opinion, so long as everybody's respectful, because everybody is going through something. And I respect you, you respect me, and we can get through it all together, no matter what the difficulty may be, so long as we're respectful about it. I thank you for listening to me.